Saginaw, Michigan. My name is Charles Allen, and you're watching Black News Tonight. So listen, it's going to be a great show. It's our season 2 premiere. We're so excited to still be with you. After the last show, we took a 2-week break. We wanted to really get in our books, develop content that you, the viewers, wanted to watch. Well, this is a Saginaw-based show. I'm a Saginaw-based resident. My name is Charles Allen, born and raised here. I got my first hug at Saginaw General. So I want you to be able to definitely know about what's going on in your city. So there's 11 candidates running for city council. There's 5 seats available, and 8 have agreed to do the Black News Tonight Saginaw City Council virtual debate. So here we go. To honor America, your host, Charles Allen, will sing the national anthem.
Working it.
That was good. I like that.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flame was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave,
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. Let's add welcome everyone to Black News Tonight. I'm going to add Monique to the stream here. Hello, Monique. How are you? Welcome.
I'm doing fine. I'm having some technical difficulties yet, but we're gonna make it happen.
Amen. We're here. We're actually having a little bit of technical difficulties. One more moment here. Bringing Chief Reggie onto the stream. Hello, Chief. How are you, sir?
I want to let you know before we get started, it is very difficult to hear you. I don't know if it's on my end or yours, but I can't hear you. I just know you're talking.
To hear me personally?
I hear you now.
Okay. You hear me now. Does anybody else have issues with audio right now?
I can hear you pretty well.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I'm good.
Well, welcome everyone. I'm so happy that you all decided to tune in. First off, we're going to start off with the candidates' base and platform. Allow them to have a moment here to talk about themselves and their plans and innovations for the city of Saginaw. And we will start off with Mike Flores.
All right. Well, thanks so much for hosting this Black News Tonight and Empower Saginaw. I think it's really important to the viewers to understand that this is the first forum that we have for this election. And for these folks to take on the initiative to host a 2-night special is a big deal, only because there are other outlets that had traditionally given other people platforms. And about 2 or 3 weeks ago, all the candidates had gotten letters from the League of Women Voters stating that they weren't going to be doing any type of candidate forum or any type of candidate expose, because we had so many people on deck and so many people that were running. And I think I had worked in the primary and I had worked in Saginaw politics for so long. So I noticed a shift after Black News Tonight and Empower Saginaw took the initiative to make sure that they reached out to every single candidate to see if they were going to be on or not. And after that, we started getting more invitations to other forums. I mean, I'm talking about this afternoon, we got an invitation from the NAACP. We got word from the League of Women Voters yesterday that they're going to, retract what they said before, and they're going to reinvest their time and resources into making sure that all the candidates' voices are heard. And I think that's only because of the shift of the dynamics, because of Empower Saginaw and because of Black News Tonight. So it's really important to honor the first people that are putting this on, because if not for the first, and if you're not a leader, then you can't have other people to follow. And I guess personally, as someone that's been involved in Saginaw politics, I understand that you all are changing things. So thank you for that. I think when it comes to my platform, we're going to have a lot of different opportunities today and in the coming weeks to talk about those things. The most important thing that I want to talk about is the fact that Saginaw is primed for a change with city council. We are the last election on the ballot, but we're the most important election on the ballot, simply because when it comes to city council and working their power, that's where change happens on the local level. It doesn't happen with President Trump, and it doesn't happen with Vice President Joe Biden. It happens here.
That's time.
That's all I have to say.
Oh.
All right.
Okay. Malcolm.
Hi, my name's Malcolm Clever Jr., and I also would like to thank Black News Tonight for this opportunity. This will be my first time in politics. I have new ideas and more common sense to issues that we have.
Malcolm, I'm going to
Yes.
give you a second time to go around and do that one more time and start that over, because I believe there was some connectivity issues on your end. But can you start over one more time for me, please, so they can hear you?
Sure. My name's Malcolm Clever Jr. I also would like to thank Black News Tonight for this opportunity. This is my first time in politics. My history is basically working class. Been in Saginaw, the city of Saginaw, for 9 years now. And some of the issues that I want to just touch base on is more or less what we're doing with the houses that we tear down, how we're handling the land that's left there. It's basically we're leaving it unusable, or very hard to use. And the other issue is I want to work with trying to see if we can bring in some other companies or use companies here in the city that give young people an opportunity to learn and give them something to keep busy on with. And I'm a Christian conservative. Basically, that's how I live my life. Most of my ideas come from that. And I basically am a person that looks at problems and figures a way to solve them. I believe every problem has a solution. And that's basically what I'm bringing to this race here. So again, I thank the people that put this on, and that's about all I have to say right now.
Thank you, Malcolm. Monique, your platform, please.
Okay. All right. Good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Charles, and Black News Tonight for this platform and for inviting me. And congratulations on being a young entrepreneur in the city of Saginaw. And that would start part of my platform because I'm an advocate for youth. And part of my platform is bringing back youth centers and after school programs for our youth and safety as it affects all the citizens of Saginaw and bringing dialogue as I have done before in the past and successful with it and bringing dialogue from the Saginaw Police Department and the city of Saginaw, primarily the youth in the city of Saginaw. I want to do something in regards to the less fortunate people in the city of Saginaw when it comes to paying bills, etc., and giving them a better chance and a chance to do things different instead of being penalized for being lower income. And I'll get into that more. Excuse me. I've been in the city of Saginaw all my life, 60 years, and I've been very vocal, an advocate for equal and human rights. And I would be remiss if I don't mention, and I'm going to mention, that I support Black Lives Matter and also police reform to a degree when it comes to saying that our police should be unarmed. I don't agree with that at all. And that is part of my platform, and I will turn it over to the next candidate. Thank you very much.
Chief, it's your turn, sir.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Reggie Williams. I am a lifelong resident of Saginaw County, born and raised in Saginaw, and lived most of my life within the city limits. I have been an officer. I was an officer for the city police department for almost 22 years. I now serve as the chief of police in Buena Vista Township, while I still live within the city residence. I am appreciative of this platform, Brother Charles. I appreciate the opportunity to share my views and my platform tonight. And my platform basically is simply just making Saginaw better. However, in whichever way that I can do that from an individual, and as a city council member. I presently serve on city council and have been. I was appointed when Clint Bryant stepped down. I interviewed and was appointed to city council, and I am attempting to run this time to hold that seat. But whatever I can do to make this city better is what I'm here for, in whichever capacity that is. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate you. All right, folks. I almost gave Cece a spot, but she just timing y'all. So I was gonna say, Cece, do you want to say something? All right, but listen, guys, we're gonna, we gotta have some fun here. So we're gonna get right into it. We're so thankful that you all are here. I personally am glad that Michael, Malcolm, Monique, Chief, that you all said yes to Black News Tonight. Obviously, this is our first ever forum or debate that we've ever done on the show. We have did 2-hour interviews. Monique has done an interview with us. We've done one with former candidate for 95th District, Carly Hammond. But this is our political cycle. So our election cycle, up until November 3rd, you're going to see a lot of things about the election. I believe in starting a smaller fire in your own community first before you can go and change your state, before you can go and change your nation. You have to start at home first. So I'm not, I'm definitely not. I just want to make sure we get that out of the way, that this is why we created Black News Tonight, is because it's all about that grassroots movement of starting at home and joining together as one and changing our communities together. And that's what we're here for. And that's what we want to do. So with that being said, let's get into the first question. You guys want to answer some questions? So just a reminder for everyone in the public's eye, each candidate will have 3 minutes to answer each question. There is 2 rebuttals for each candidate per night. These are the same rules as going to be on both nights. Cece is the timer. She will put her hand up, and I'm going to organize you folks really quickly here. And just so we can get you all on the top here. Yep. And we'll leave Chief right there in the middle, and I should put you right there, Chief. So now, with that being said, the videos will be coming. They're pre-recorded from people in the community, and we'll start now with the first question.
My name is Jeff Bulls, lifelong resident of the city of Saginaw. My question is concerning police accountability. If elected as a board member, as a council member, what is your role? What would be your role, in your opinion, in reeling in the police in the city of Saginaw? What type of accountability measures will you ensure that are put in place to make sure that accountability is the standard across the board, whether it's police officers, whether it's the police chief,
okay, I'm missing
those
that.
who are in charge of maintaining accountability? I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Okay, so if you didn't hear it, I'm sorry that we're having audio issues, but what would be your role in reeling in the police in the city of Saginaw? What type of accountability measures would you put in place to make sure the accountability is the standard across the board? And as your order will go, you can respond in the order that you are placed in. So Michael, you would go first. Malcolm, you would always be second. Monique, you would always be third. Chief, you would always be fourth.
Okay, great. So when it comes to police accountability, we know that the police department has the majority of our city's budget. But the question that comes with, why are folks that are put into our police department being hired? I guess mainly, why is Adam Collier a person that we had on the police force? Because of the incident that happened, we need accountability on the front end. We need people to make sure that when we're vetting these police officers, that they aren't people that are going to slip through the cracks. One of the stories that always sticks with me is the story of Ken Blue. He wasn't a police officer that was here in Saginaw, but he was over in the neighboring community of BV, and he was a police officer that had an extramarital affair, which isn't a crime, but that produced a child. And then he, during patrol, met up with his lover, strangled her to death, killing her child and his child, and then tried to cover it up within the BB department. So as a citizen, I'm looking at these incidences of Adam Collier punching a woman that was handcuffed in the face, and Ken Blue, who murdered another woman. And I'm wondering how these people are able to get these jobs, which have great benefits, which have good pay. And myself as a resident who is well qualified for any job, it's gone through rigorous different background checks. And I don't know anybody in my sphere that has ever done any homicide or inficide or punched somebody in the face during their job. And all of our jobs are stressful, especially at this time. So when it comes to being accountable, we have to start at the top. We have to start with Police Chief Ruth. I'm disappointed that he lied to us on July 17th about the fact that Officer Collier punched that woman before she got into the Sally Port. And I'm hoping that this, me bringing this into light, is going to have other folks talk about this as well. But when it comes to accountability, we have to make sure that we're hiring good people. And that's really an issue that we have currently. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Malcolm?
Yes, to be honest, I don't know exactly what the role of city council is with the police department, how much oversight we have. But with whatever oversight we have, it would start with the police department to make sure they have an internal affairs. They need to police themselves, but we also have to have some kind of civilian oversight. And if the people aren't doing their jobs, or there's signs that there's going to be problems, we have to deal with it administratively, either fire them or find out exactly what's going on. I don't know exactly who's responsible for hiring the police officers, but we should be involved in that, just as oversight at least. And but with the police department too, a lot of the issues, I support the police department 100%. There's going to be issues that come up. They have to be dealt with individually, but not condemn the whole police force for actions of one or two. We also have to educate the public on their reaction to the police department. I mean, when a police officer responds to a situation, they have to be vigilant on everything around them, all the surrounding, all the other people are doing, get the facts. And at the same time, it's very difficult if people are screaming, yelling at them, fighting with them. Basically, I believe is most police are 100% good. But if they give you an order to do something or a directive to do something, just do it. And if you don't agree with it, just do it, and then let it go through the court system. That's what the courts are for. But on the accountability part, I don't see a problem with some kind of civilian oversight, just to look at incidents that come up, and if it becomes a problem, deal with it administratively. I'm finished with that.
Thank you, Malcolm. Next, Monique.
Okay. In regards to police, first of all, I want to say this because I'm getting kind of a feeling here. Okay. In regards to the Saginaw Police Department, I must say personally that we have some very good officers. And I'm not sucking up. And we do have and have had some officers that were not so good. And I've seen both sides. What I would do is what I've done previously under the leadership of the late Pam Lamar Jordan with New Alternative Youth Service Center. We brought in Saginaw Police when it wasn't popular to the youth center to talk to our youth and to have communication back and forth. We also brought in the Center for Civil Justice to let them know what their rights were. I'd like to see that plan implemented on a bigger, broader scale. I believe that there need to be more vigorous background checks. Where did these people come from that are applying to police our city, so to speak? And I am for police reform, like I stated. And the main thing is police communication. People need to stop thinking that all police are bad, but there needs to be communication. once you have that communication outlet, you would be surprised the difference that would make. And we need to hold the few officers that are bad officers, they need to be held accountable. That bottom line, need to be held accountable for their action and non-actions. And that would be my main thing. There's it's how the police officers react, it's how the citizens react versus acting. And I think once we come together in forms in regards to communication, what's going on in the city, how I feel this way, why am I afraid of the police officers? We had a success rate at New Alternative Youth Center, probably about 98%, and that had no interaction negatively with the police. They've gone on to be attorneys, work in the police department, nurses. I mean, just thank you very much. A broad array of activities that I've done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Monique. Chief Reggie.
Okay. In regards to answering the question, what my role would be reeling Saginaw Police in, as of right now, I have served as an advisor on basically a committee oversight committee for the police department, which was implemented probably within the last, say, month and a half to 2 months, Saginaw City Council. So as far as the City Council's position in regards as it relates to the Saginaw City Police Department, we do not have oversight for the day-to-day operations. That is not our job. It's not what we're there to do. The city manager, Tim Morales, that is his job to make sure that the police department falls in line. I don't believe as a council person it's our position to sit in judgment as far as any officer on the Saginaw City Police Department. Officer Collier, formerly Officer Collier, from what I know and understand, I've heard he's a good cop. So that incident that happened, the other candidate, he brought up Kim Blue's name. I never knew Kim Blue, but to bring up officers in their situations where they have one situation, two situations. If we have someone with, obviously multiple situations, that definitely, that's a problem. But if you have a situation where something happens and obviously for Officer Collier's incident, I don't know of any other incident that he's had prior to that. That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but we as city council members, we are not to sit in judgment. It's not our place to terminate, suspend, throw down anything, any type of measures like that. So as far as reeling in the Saginaw Police Department, that's not what I'm here to do. I won't do that because I can't do that. That's not my position. I do believe that there does need to be accountability, and that's what I would look for from the city manager to make sure that he is on a day-to-day basis, making sure that the police chief is running his department the way he's supposed to run his department. And I believe that Chief Ruth has been doing that. I would hope that all officers will fall in line with what Chief Ruth is, basically putting out there. But as far as reeling officers in, that's definitely not our job to do as council members.
Could I respond to that? Because we're kind of following a dialogue. All right. I don't think a murder is a situation. I think a murder, especially of an unborn child, is a murder. I know that didn't happen in the city of Saginaw, but we all keep the same company as our neighbors. And for you to say, especially as a police officer, that is an unfortunate situation that Officer Collier punched a woman that was handcuffed in the face before she got into the Sally Port and who knows what was said in that 7 minutes. That I think that's disingenuous and that's troubling. I know that it's not the city council's job to tell Ruth how to do his job, but at the same time, we do have that power and we do have that influence to talk to Morales and talk to Ruth and to make sure that their hiring practices are better than what they are currently, because currently they're not well, because obviously these people are coming and infiltrating our systems, and there's no excuse for it. I mean, there's no excuse for punching a woman in the face at all, regardless of what job you have. So, I mean, that's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. And I'm disappointed that that's coming from you. That's all.
Okay. I do have.
Yeah, Chief, go ahead. We're not gonna let you not talk.
Yeah.
Well, great. I don't disagree with you as far as that being ridiculous. I don't think that I said anything contrary to what you said. As far as Buena Vista goes, it's bringing up Kim. I don't know why you're bringing that up, considering that we are talking about the city of Saginaw and city council. That has no place here whatsoever. As far as hiring practices go, I think that's something that all police departments everywhere need to institute. How do we do that? I think that's been the biggest question for really the last 5 to 10 years in law enforcement.
Why hasn't that been answered as a question?
And you're asking that question in regards to everywhere, because that's how I just introduced the question. That's been a troublesome situation, troublesome issue for law enforcement for years.
But why hasn't it been answered is what I'm asking.
Well, obviously because no one has the answer. Because if it's been that way if it's been that way for law enforcement, that's not just a city of Saginaw issue. That is law enforcement in general.
That's why I'm bringing up BV in general.
But I mean, okay, that's fine. And Charles, if we can, I know that my title has already been put out there, but since I'm not here as a chief of police for Buena Vista, let's not refer to me as chief, because Buena Vista should not be in this at all whatsoever. So when it comes,
I'm just talking about Adam Collier, then
your name has been changed, and I'm not. First of all, I
appreciate you, Charles. I just want to make sure that because there should be nothing about Buena Vista in this conversation whatsoever. So when it comes down to Adam Collier, there's no disagreement with me as far as
he's a good guy, other than the one situation.
But let me tell you this, and I believe in just being 100% real, because I'm not a politician. Okay, here's the thing: I've done things in my life that have been that you would look at and be like, why would you do that? We all have. I believe we all have. So when it comes down
to do with Adam Collier,
when it comes down to Adam Collier, he made a horrible professional decision.
No, he punched a woman in the face. He punched a woman in the face. That's
hold on 1 second, guys. Listen, Reggie has the floor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Time it 90 minutes, please. And then Mike, I'm going to grant you another chance to respond after this.
Or anybody else on the forum.
But listen, we are going to do this in a professional manner. I appreciate you guys being passionate, but I want to make sure that who has the floor has the floor. CC, I need you to make sure you time this next one, because I want to move on from this, because there's way more about policing in the city of Saginaw. We all know that this is a sensitive subject for some of us. However, let's make sure we keep it on the city of Saginaw. I do feel that that's a fair statement. But I want you guys to have your opportunities, but I want them to be timed, because I want no one to have an unfair advantage. Is that okay?
I'm going to just state this. He made a horrible professional decision. All right. I don't disagree with you on that. There's no dispute in that. So if you want to, I guess, play on my words, whatnot, you can go right ahead. I don't disagree with anything you're saying. That's all I have.
Okay.
Michael?
Yeah. I don't think it's a professional decision. I think it lacks a professional angle. I think it was a personal decision to be able to punch somebody in the face. I think that's because of lack of leadership on the top. And for Ruth to not tell us that during the July 17th press conference, and for us to hear about it from the AG's press conference months later, and to not release the video is troublesome, only because they are treating us like children, but they are arresting us like adults. Do you understand what I'm saying? But that is not how society is supposed to be run. You can't treat somebody like a child and sit there and arrest them and jail them like adults. And I am passionate about that. City Council does have the power to talk to Chief Ruth. Chief Ruth has to come to City Council about anything that he buys in the budget, whether it be an armored vehicle in 2016, whether it be about anything that he has to put into his operations for training or for whatever. But to say that we're hands off and we don't have anything to do with police operations when we're funding them $25 million a year is inaccurate at best.
No,
yes, it is.
We are hands off.
Wait. You told me not to interrupt you. Wait. Go ahead. You don't have to have a screaming match. But come on.
Okay. All right. I want to do the next question, and I want it to be about the budget. And we're going to bring Danger. Will you play the next question, please? At the end, we'll have some time to go back to these things that we're passionate and go ahead and rehash them. But right now, I want to move on to the next question, which speaks about the budget. So, Danger, can you go ahead and play that video, please?
Hi, my name is Cecilia Olivetta, and I was born and raised in Saginaw, Michigan. I love to volunteer and organize in my hometown, but my work in Wayne County has made me aware of many missed opportunities in programming and funding. Though some are obviously due to a smaller population size, some seem to be from complacency and a lack of a strong inter-organizational base. So my question tonight is, aside from our census work, which will obviously be done at the end of the year, what can be done to assure that our residents receive state and federal resources to improve their quality of life and that human services professionals like myself don't have to move to find gainful employment?
Okay, I'm going to reiterate the question. What can be done to assure that our residents receive state and federal resources to improve their quality of life so that human services professionals don't have to move to find gainful employment? That was the question from the timer tonight. Mike.
Well, I think that we have a great opportunity with Amos O'Neill, hopefully going to be elected and taking his position in Lansing. He is for better or worse, a creature of the city council. He's been on there for a long time. He knows the importance of revenue sharing. And then the other part of that, rather than leaning on, Lansing and Washington, D.C. professionals and politicians, is making sure that citizens are aware of where our tax dollars come from, what our tax cap is, what our millage cap is, and making sure that they know the ins and the outs of the budget. Once they know that, and once they know that we're lacking resources, hopefully we can have this additional push to get additional revenue.
Malcolm?
Dig in and make sure we're aware of all the different fundings and stuff that are available and see what options we have to get those kind of resources. How this question's worded, though, so, to improve the quality of life so human services professionals don't have to move to find gainful employment. I don't know how receiving state and federal funds is going to be used to create jobs for people here, or more jobs than are needed here. I mean, city of Saginaw is a certain size. We have, there's so many positions for different kinds of jobs. So I don't understand how she's hooking her type of employment to state and federal resources. The state and federal resources I think we would get would be more on cleaning up the state and using it to try to bring in businesses or bring in other work, companies. But as far as a direct thing for somebody's gainful employment, I don't see how that would play out. But again, going into the city council, if elected, I would look at all the finances that I'm allowed to look at and stuff, and just see what areas that I can make improvements or suggestions on. That's what I would be doing first. Thank you.
Reggie.
Okay. Oh, my mic's unmuted. I agree with what Malcolm stated in regards to his answer. I also like to say the best thing that we can do right now is to fill out our census, because that does bring money in locally back to Saginaw. And I think everyone that's watching, and if they can share with the people that are in their lives, to get out and advocate for the census and fill out your census for your home to get that stream of funding coming back into the city of Saginaw. Thank you.
I'll just provide a little bit of clarification on that, because it was lumped a little weird the way it was verbally written out. And that is just like, as we go further north in the state, certain public service jobs, things that would be mostly county based, I guess, they become more regionally based than county based. So, as we lose population and things like that, to make sure that doesn't really happen in our area, to make sure that those jobs, they do remain, and that we don't have one specific service covering like a much larger area just because it's a little more rural.
All right, Monique, I'm going to let Monique respond. Monique, I know that we're having some technical difficulties, so it's your turn to respond to the question. Danger, do me a favor and don't remove anybody from the stream. Just add them up to the top when they speak, just for now, so that we can all get the timer. I don't know what's going on with the connectivity, but I want to make sure everyone is being heard. So, Monique, it is your turn to respond. Your 3 minutes start now.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say I didn't hear the total question. I heard bits and pieces, but so I'll say this. When it comes to the city of Saginaw, first of all, we have to sit down and come together as a unit and do a quality improvement piece for the city of Saginaw. We have to look over budgets and make sure that we're spending our citizens, our tax dollars correctly. There must be oversight into the budget. I've worked with multi-million-dollar budgets and received them for other agencies. So I am very well equipped to work with my fellow city council persons in regards to making a reasonable budget where we can try to have as many people or agencies benefit from our budget as we can. Now, like I said, I missed a lot of that question, and I hope my answer was reflective of at least a great part of that question. Thank you.
I thought the answer was good. And we will now move on to the next question. And anybody, no rebuttals this round?
No.
Okay. 1 second here. Go ahead for the next one, Danger.
Good evening, candidates for City Council. I'm Joy Seals, former the mayor of the city of Saginaw and currently a school board member here in the city. I'd like to ask you a budget question. The city of Saginaw has gone through crisis in their budget, and as a result of that, it has had to cut many essential services in this city. And they have to do that in order to meet the state guidelines that they have to present a balanced budget each year. With that in mind, I would like for you to consider, what do you feel are the barriers that keep the city from meeting their financial goals? And secondarily, what is the plan that you have for the city of Saginaw to help them reach those goals?
Michael.
So I think I answered a little bit of that in my previous question. questions to answer. We need to raise the tax cap, and we need to raise the millage cap, just because we are constrained so much. And that is the elephant in the room. It's been the elephant in the room for so long. Everyone on city council knows that as a fact, if they've gone through their, annual budget proposals. So that is probably the heavy lifting of leaders, is to go canvassing, go door to door, do phone banking, whatever you need to do to reach out to every single person in the city and let them know, listen, we need to make a long-term investment. We're going to take a short-term hit. And part of what Malcolm had said in terms of making sure that, businesses come into Saginaw, because we have a lot of land. I don't think people understand this. We have a lot of land on the east side of Saginaw that had been opened up because of the blight crisis in the 80s and 90s. So, we're prime for new businesses, whether they be, marijuana dispensaries is the new thing because of the ordinances that were freed up this last few months, whether they be any type of businesses that entrepreneurs are going to be willing to invest, capital in. But we're broke. We need people to come into the city. Additionally, we need people that work for the city to live in the city. And there's some things that we could do in city council to make sure that that happens, whether that be changing or amending some parts of the charter. But the big promise that we have for this election is that the majority of the council is up for election. So 5 seats are up. If you look at the charter, you only need 3 council members to even bring up a meeting. There's a lot of political power that you can use if you have the right people in there. So this is a change year. It's a heavy bench of candidates that are running for election. And the people of Saginaw have to be vigilant and aware of the fact that if we get the right people in there, we can change things drastically and dramatically and work towards making all of us prosperous, the east side and the west side.
You're on mute, hon.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, Malcolm.
Okay. My biggest thing that I see in the city is we losing too much people. We're losing the tax base. Every house that was tore down, we paid so much money to have the house tore down, and that's years of lost tax revenue. We still have a lot in the city that needs to be cleaned up to attract more people and more businesses into the city. And that's one of the main things that we need to look at. Also, as a council, we need to all come together, look at all the numbers, and everybody, put their input in and see where we can, move money around or get, more benefits from the federal or state level. But I think the main thing is we got to keep people in the city. And to do that, we need to clean up the city. If we start to overtax the people we have left in the city, we're going to lose that much more people, and then that much more of the tax base. So I think the priority to keep to meet the budget is to keep people and bring people back to the city. And that's what I would try to concentrate on. Thank you.
Reggie. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, I apologize. My bad. It's Monique. I'm so sorry, guys. It's just the camera going back and forth is doing a lot with my eyes. I apologize. Monique, your turn. Our leading lady tonight. You're muted.
And but what the question was, I have no idea what the question was.
Okay, let me repeat it for you. It's what do you feel are the barriers that keep the city from meeting their financial goals? What is the plan that you have? And the mayor said it's so great. What is the plan that you have for the city of Saginaw to help them reach their goals? So what do you feel are the barriers, and what is the plan that you have as a candidate running?
Okay, thank you. One of the major problems is the blight in the city of Saginaw. It has been a problem. There needs to be more oversight in regards to that particular area. I've seen and I've had people actually come to me in regards to blight in their neighborhoods. There are many neighborhoods overlooked. We're going to look at those and we're going to be fair across the city when it comes to cleaning up the city. That would be the major. There are other things, but that's a major thing. What I would like to do to bring awareness is bring people in. We need to foster communication with other cities. We need to sit down at the table. See, we're not here alone. We need to sit down at the table and look at examples. What have you done? We can't be an island. You know, that's why one of my main slogan is it can't be business as usual. We have to bring other people in to our area. We have to talk to people. The council has to get together with even other agencies. People have a lot of ideas, and we need to come together and brainstorm what's good for our city. You know, city council is not by themselves. The city council is supposed to be the voice for the city. So once I meet with the residents of the city of Saginaw, let them know they have a voice. You know, we're supposed to represent them, and let's bring that stuff to the table. That's my answer.
Reggie.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. I agree with what everyone's saying. Michael brought up the tax cap, and I believe that's one of our biggest barriers. And I am in support of getting rid of the tax cap, especially since we're running off a revenue stream from the 70s, and we're here in 2020 now. So I think that is the biggest barrier. And again, like he stated, you know, phone banks, doing whatever it is we can, canvassing to get people to buy into lifting that tax cap, I think, is one of our biggest issues when it comes to generating a revenue stream for the city of Saginaw. And without sounding redundant on everything else everyone else said, I'll just end it with that.
You're muted, Charles.
Next question, Danger.
Hello, my name is Elisa Urtiaga Medina. I am a homeowner and local business owner in the city, as well as a community organizer working on civil rights for immigrants issue work. I've come before you to ask 3 significant questions that impact our immigrant community. So 1, what would you do to ensure pandemic relief and resources are made accessible to our local immigrant families? 2, what work can you do to ensure that our brand new jail does not get used as a detention center housing ICE detainees as a for-profit endeavor? And 3, are you willing to work with me and other organizations like Michigan United and Michigan Immigrant Rights Center to learn more about these issues and the lack of communication and connection to these issues in this city? So let me explain this. First, what would you do to ensure pandemic relief and resources are made accessible to our local immigrant families? I work with over 100 immigrant and mixed status families here in Saginaw. For those who might not know, mixed status families are families where not all of the family members are citizens yet. These families include DACA recipients, refugees, asylum seekers, TPS holders, and various levels of immigration status. We need to acknowledge the needs and systemic oppression that these families are experiencing on a local level as much as a federal level, because at the federal level, The immigrant community is facing extreme discrimination. For example, many mixed status families did not qualify for a stimulus check, including those families with one parent who is a citizen. Also, many folks have been terrified to apply for any public services right now, even if they do legally qualify as green card holders, due to the public charge executive order, which jeopardizes people's path to citizenship. So we need local government to step up, because right now, many local food banks and health services are requiring a photo ID and social security number to access their resources and services, making them unavailable for folks with mixed status. So I ask again, what would you do to ensure pandemic relief and resources are made accessible to our local immigrant families? Second of all, will you work to make sure there is accountability in how the new jail facility is run, and what steps will you take to assure this happens? I ask because small town jails are often swayed to be used as ICE detainment centers as a profit endeavor. Therefore, it is important that these steps you take protect the innocent members of the community so that no one gets detained unless a judiciary warrant is issued for their arrest. Adverse agendas, such as social and racial profiling, are often utilized in efforts of cooperation with ICE and DHS. This harms the folks of this community, both citizens and immigrants alike. So I repeat again, will you work to make sure there is accountability of how the new jail facility is run, and what steps will you take to assure this happens? Pressure from our city council and local authorities by making a public statement can show that actions rather than words are what creates a welcoming city to all its residents and families. Lastly, are you willing to work with me as a community navigator for Michigan United, the Michigan Immigrant Rights Center, and other similar organizations to learn more about these issues and how they can be addressed at the local level?
Michael. Did you get the whole question, or could you not hear it?
Michael, you are muted.
Michael, you are muted. You are muted.
All right, I'm ready. All right, sorry. So COVID-19 has been hard on every single person that I've ever met. I mean, this fact that mental health issues have gone through the roof and people are kind of stirring in their own homes is disheartening in and of itself when it comes to the immigrant community, which is majority Latinx. This idea that 287G program where we can partner with the county or the city to have ICE come and patrol our streets is absolutely terrifying to a lot of people that I know. A lot of what this last questionnaire had talked about is done at the state and federal level. I know that the partners like Dan Kildee, Congressman Dan Kildee, and hopefully Amos O'Neill are going to be able to be partners with us to make sure that we opt out and continue to opt out of that program. But when it comes to city council, we need to make sure that we are leading on that front, that Sheriff Fetterspiel will not opt into the 287G program, and that Ruth also has some say in making sure that we acknowledge the fact that our city is already safe from any immigrant type of criminality. When it comes to the second part of the question about this new jail being used as a detention center, I would like to delve in a little bit more to make sure that that's even possible, because I know the majority of detention centers are for profit versus city or county run. There was a really disturbing New York Times article that came out 4 days ago about a for-profit Georgia detention center that was taking the uteruses out of immigrants that were coming in and that were being detained already. That's something that all of us should be aware of, because that's something that is happening in the United States of America. And the third answer to her third question is yes. So obviously that's all very disturbing. I had met with some Hispanic community leaders, and they had said before COVID that after Donald Trump was elected, that there were some people that were not showing up to events that usually would show up because they were afraid of ICE coming in, and especially afraid of the 287G program. So we want to make sure that we stay out of that.
Okay. I'm going to change up the order because we needed. This is a long process. We've all been here for an hour. So, and Malcolm needed a moment. So, Monique Lamar Sylvia, can you please answer? After that, Reggie, can you answer? And then Malcolm will go last just for his break. And then we're going to take just a small intermission so everyone can use the restroom if they need to, or go get something to drink if they need to. Just want to be respectful of that, okay?
Okay. Again, I'm having difficulty. If you could just give me a snippet of that question, and I will answer as much of that as I can, but I didn't hear the question at all.
Yes, ma'am. The question was, how would you ensure pandemic relief and resources are made accessible to local immigrant families? How will you make sure the new jail is not for profit for ICE? Will you work with MU and MIRC?
Okay.
So, let me say this. Ms. Ortega, she asked the question when she's asking, will you work with MU and MIRC? She works with that organization. So just address the first one, how we would ensure pandemic relief and resources are made accessible to local immigrant and families, and how we make sure the new jail is not for profit for ICE. One of the things that Mike said was that he doesn't believe that's a possibility. I'm going to even comment on that. So go ahead.
Okay. The first part, as far as the city government, I don't know how much control we have over the resources in regards to the pandemic. I would be a voice to make sure that we could get those dollars in to not only, you said that foreigners, or that everyone would be able to tap into those particular resources. I don't know how much power that the city of Saginaw would have in regards to that, or the city council. If we had the power, if we're given that power, definitely I would advocate for those dollars to come in. And again, oversight, that's the main thing. Oversight, making sure that it's overseen in regards to that. And in regards to the jail, I would hope that it would never be a for-profit. I would be totally against that. I've seen and read about other cities and states, how that work, and it's not very good. In regards to the third question, and I'm doing it because of time and I've missed some things, I'm not familiar with those organizations. So if you can give me some information in regards to what those acronyms mean, that would help me in regards to answering that question.
The first one, MU, is called Michigan United.
I'm sorry?
Michigan United.
Okay.
I'm getting the second one right now. One moment.
Michigan Immigrants and Rights Center.
Thank you, Cecilia. I didn't want to get it wrong.
Oh, definitely I would partner. Yes, unhesitated. I would work with as a city council person and just regular citizens. I would love to work with those two organizations.
Thank you, Monique. Reggie? You're muted off, sir.
Okay, how's that?
Perfect.
In regards to the first question, I would definitely work with my fellow council members and our city government to help ensure whatever resources that we could to help out any immigrant families. The third question, the second question, I'm clicking my screen to try to see what the second
how
question
will you
was.
ensure that the new jail is not used to house ICE immigrants? ICE
for profit.
For profit.
I would definitely, I would want to talk to our sheriff and also our county commissioner, my county commissioner, to find out, how that would all play out. And with the last questions, I would definitely work with whomever to help our community. So no matter which organization you are, if you're for helping out the citizens of the city of Saginaw, I am definitely down to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Malcolm.
Pandemic relief and resources, we would have probably no say in that at all from the federal. But if I'm not mistaken, though, green card holders were eligible, with filing taxes and stuff like that. Maybe not, but I kind of thought they were. When it comes to immigration, I'm all for immigration, but I am 100% against illegal immigration or undocumented immigration. Basically, they break the law to come here. They know what the risks are. They deal with it. I don't know what the for-profit program is, ICE for profit. But if ICE has detainees at the jail for a while, or what, I don't know I forgot what they call them, but the warrants or the writs for to hold them, I think we should comply with ICE. We should work with ICE within the law. And when it comes to those two organizations, I'm not very familiar with them, but they do not sound like organizations that I would work with. I'm known be totally against the governor's idea of giving driver's license to undocumented immigrants for legal reasons, moral reasons. And I've made myself clear on that. And so when it comes to immigration, I'm all for immigration as long as it's through the legal channels and the way it's supposed to be done. That's where I stand on immigration.
Thank you.
Can I ask Malcolm about something?
Well, if want to make sure, if you do ask, that is your second rebuttal. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, Malcolm, do you think that it's fair that folks that came here illegally, that had not broken any other law other than coming here illegally, deserve to be chased down and hunted by ICE, even if they're contributing to society? And I know I look at your face now and I see that you're kind of cringing at it, but what if these are people that are doing our roofings, doing our construction work, doing the work that a lot of folks don't want to do, is even when unemployment is high. And if anybody has a moment to watch, it's called Immigration Nation, and something similar happened. I'm not saying something similar, but something happened in a particular city where ICE was just chasing people because of the policies that had happened under President Trump and Jeff Sessions of the DOJ, to chase people that were breaking the law, other than the one law that you mentioned. Is that a fair use of our laws and use of our system and use of our resources?
Well, number one, I think the ICE chasing down illegal immigrants and stuff started way back in Bush's thing, and it went right through Obama and everybody. But anyway, yeah, I do. If the law was broken, they know the law was broken. They didn't do anything for the 20. They're living here 20 years. They didn't do anything to change that, to try to get their citizenship. I don't feel for them. I really don't. And this idea that they're, a lot of people bring this up, and you just mentioned it, doing the jobs that other people don't want to do. I don't buy into that.
Well, that's a fact.
What do you mean by doing the jobs that other people want to
do? If the illegal immigrants aren't here, there's going to be people to do the jobs. It might cost a little bit more because they pay the illegals less, or that's been the history of it.
That's always been the history of it, yes.
Right. Why are they doing that?
Because it's all about capitalism.
Right.
So you want to prosecute the people that are hiring them?
Excuse me?
Do you want to prosecute the people that are hiring them?
They used to.
I'm asking you.
When I had my business, I had to check ID out of 2 or 3 columns before I hired anybody.
So you want to prosecute people that are harboring them as well?
Back in Clinton's time.
So you want to prosecute people that are harboring them as well?
Hire illegal immigrants. They should be prosecuted, yes.
All right.
Okay. Anybody got rebuttals?
Does anybody else care about this issue?
I care about it, but on the opposite side.
I'm just going to say.
No, anybody else.
Anybody else. I want to say something. I would like to see them try to prosecute all of the businesses, the people that have hired illegal immigrants. I like to see that happen. And I'm being sarcastic, not saying I want to see it happen. I like to see it happen.
Yeah. But that doesn't happen.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah. But that doesn't happen. So we're
it's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. We want to arrest the illegal immigrants. That's what you're saying. But you're not putting real emphasis on also going after the people that are hiring them. So if we're going to be fair, let's be fair across the board and prosecute everybody. And I'd like to see that happen. That would take our country into a tailspin that we really don't want to see.
I think it's a lack of empathy.
Because for every action, there is a reaction. There's a reaction.
On Malcolm's part. Yeah, on Monique's part.
All right. Moving on. Next question. Intermission, yes. Thank you, Cece, because I need something to drink. Danger, give us the 5-minute video. Everybody get an intermission, 5 minutes. We'll be right back, all right?
10 seconds.
And maybe you're just tuning in. Welcome back to Black News Tonight. I am your host, Charles Allen. We just took our intermission so everyone could have their normal human functions. I'm so thankful for you all viewing. Do me a favor right now, if you're viewing in the city of Saginaw, please go ahead and hit that share button. Please go ahead and hit that follow button so you can catch when we're live here at Black News Tonight. We thank all the candidates who are participating in this first debate forum, and I'm going to get them right back up for our last formal question here. We're at about an hour and 30 minutes at this point, and then we're going to open up for some questions from all of you that did not reach out personally, so who are in the comment section here. And without further ado, Danger, go ahead and roll that next question and then bring all the candidates back up, please.
My name is Carly Hammond. I'm a member of Empower Saginaw, and my question tonight is on policing. Former Governor Rick Snyder started a program called Secure Cities Partnership, or SCP. That program is employed today in the city of Saginaw. This program's idea was to protect downtown areas along the I-75 corridor of several cities by providing state troopers directly to police the areas in those cities. So the city of Saginaw, from state troopers, experiences about 10,000 traffic stops every single year in the city itself by these state troopers. They do not answer 911 calls. They are not deployed to help with ongoing crimes. They only conduct traffic stops. They also take away hundreds of driver's licenses every single year. They also issue hundreds of tickets for misdemeanors. And along those lines, do you think that the Secure Cities Partnership, also known as SCP, helps or hurts with community relations and policing here in Saginaw? Do you think it helps or hurts to deter crime in the city of Saginaw? And as a city council member, current or hopeful council member, would you work to either dismantle the Secure City Partnership and hope to bring some of that funding back to our own city police department? Or would you encourage it to continue and support the ongoing efforts of the state police officers directly doing traffic stops here in the city of Saginaw? Thank you.
Michael?
So I've been stopped by the Michigan State Police, I think 4 times, maybe 5, I can't count. I've been detained by them, maybe 2 of those occasions. So the SPC program personally has been embarrassing. One time I was driving with my girlfriend at the time, and they stopped us because there was a shooting a couple days that had happened, and it happened to go. And maybe her car looked like the suspect's car. I'm not sure. They never really gave us a reason, and that's common. And they had ran our information. I have a tattoo on my chest, and when they came back, they're usually jovial when they're detaining somebody for any period of time. And he's like, did your girlfriend see your chest, your chest yet? Insinuating that, we had any type of romantic or intimate encounter. It was embarrassing. So all of these detentions were not fruitful for them only because I wasn't breaking the law. And somebody could look at me and say, well, when there's smoke, there's fire. But here's the thing. I'm not the one starting the fire. It was the state police that are patrolling our streets for traffic stops that were abusing their power. And so absolutely, I would look at other ways to, make sure that our city police officers are a little bit more robust. But I am not a fan of the state police patrolling, especially in that way, to what happened to me personally. And I wouldn't be a fan of it if it didn't happen to me personally, because I know plenty of people that have been pulled over for no reason whatsoever. So it's ineffective at best, and it's disgraceful at worst.
I don't see a problem with it. There might be some instances like individual police officers overstepping and doing things like that. And that would be on a personal thing to him. But breaking the law, if you get pulled over, I don't see what difference it makes if it's state police or local police, except for the fact that we don't have enough local police to do as much traffic stops and stuff. And if we did have a bigger police force and they did could enforce more traffic laws, that would be fine. My personal experience where I live, within a month of traffic stops just in my neighborhood, it would pay for an officer's salary for a whole year. But there's nobody here to pull these people over or to stop them breaking the law. When it comes to relations, I don't think there would be an issue because, like I said, if you're breaking the law, you're breaking the law.
But have you ever been pulled over for no reason, Malcolm?
Yeah.
When was that?
That would have been in Lansing, though. It wasn't here in Saginaw, but that's beside the point. I'm not going to get into personal stuff like that.
All right.
Malcolm, no problem there. Mike, you don't have any more rebuttals, so you can't interrupt at this time. I'm going to make sure I stick to that to make sure everything is fair. What I will tell you all is that at the end, we're closing the show pretty soon. That was the last question. We're going to open up, but it needs no more rebuttals for Michael. You're in timeout, sir, until the end of this thing. Malcolm, are you done with answering the question?
I can finish a little bit.
I paused your time. You can continue.
Yeah. Like I said, the police departments as a whole, I support them 100%. I understand a lot of us make mistakes. I've made mistakes, but if you get pulled over and you've broken a law, you get a ticket, whatever, that's on you. It's not on the police department. I don't see a problem with that, and I doubt seriously. I just won't believe that the police departments, be it the state or local, are just out there pulling a whole bunch of people over for no reason at all. They have to account for their time. If they're pulling somebody over for no reason and nothing's there, that's on them when it goes back to their reports and stuff like that. So I don't see that happening. People being pulled over, for no reason. There's always a reason. There's some kind of reason. And if you're not doing anything wrong, then you're cleared. And if you don't agree with what the police officer is issuing you a ticket for or pulling you over for, that's what the court system's for. And I firmly believe in that. Thank you.
Monique?
Oh, Jesus. Okay. I'm in agreement for a partnership. I remember when the partnership between the state police and the Saginaw police became active. I think it needs to be relooked at and maybe restructured. There has been so many complaints about the state police presence in the city of Saginaw. Everyone that gets stopped is not committing a crime. So I don't know where the gentleman before me got that particular information from, but there's been just numerous complaints. But also, I fostered a relationship with the state police. There's no oversight. Like I said, it needs to be revamped because you have the state police in the city, but then the city police does city policing. So it needs to be a come together. And my favorite word tonight, evidently, is oversight. It needs to be oversight. I've heard on numerous occasions how state police, and sometimes people get confused, well, was it state, was it city? But state police calling our young ladies out of their names, traffic, just some horrible things. But then again, you have state police, like I said about our city police. You've got some bad ones and some good ones. All of them are not good. And everyone that gets stopped, I don't know where the guy before me, and I don't mean any harm because I just couldn't remember the name. I don't know where you've been, because all over the country, all over the nation, that's what's going on. Is our youth, our young men, our young women being killed that didn't do a doggone thing. I don't want to get upset, but come on now, we got to get our heads out of the sand, look at what's going on, bring our police force to the table, state and city, township too, and get an understanding, communication, and oversight. And again, I want to say, everyone that gets stopped by the police have not committed a crime, aren't committing a crime, and some of them have never committed a crime in their life. Thank you. And I'd like to extend one of my rebuttals to Mike, if I can do that. He can have one of mine.
Well, we ain't think about that, but we don't have to do that anymore because it's Reggie Williams' turn. And as soon as Reggie is done, it'll be open for him. That's what. But before, Reggie, if you don't mind, I'm not invading on your time, but I definitely want to make sure we announce that Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed, our Supreme Court justice, passed, and Cece was making me aware of that. So resonate in power to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. That is a very sad loss for us all. Reggie Williams.
For us all. Yeah.
Okay. Can you put the question back up on the screen for me too?
Of course, Reggie.
But when it comes down to being pulled over, I've definitely been pulled over. I'm pulled over times a year. And I will say that I definitely violate the speed limit on a couple of those, but then there's others where I had no reason, no cause to be pulled over. But as far as the state police and our Secure Cities partnership goes, I think that it's obviously it's good and bad. The state police come in where they do a good job is getting guns off the street through traffic and patrolling with traffic stops. So that's the good about it. But the bad, obviously, anytime, really, no matter which circle I'm sitting in, the complaints are registered against the Michigan State Police in our community. I don't hear anywhere near the amount of complaints towards the Saginaw Police Department as I do for Michigan State Police. And that's something I think definitely needs to be addressed. And it has been addressed, but not in the way that it should be. I do think and believe that it does help deter crime to a point. But I think as well, it also causes a lot of frustration when you have people that are being stopped and literally for no reason or for something that they didn't need to be stopped for. And what I mean by that is sometimes you have traffic violations, and I'm a believer that if the traffic violation is not going to cause an accident or injury to the person driving or to someone else, what is the point of even making that stop? And the last to address the last question about dismantling or continuing it, I think that it needs to be tweaked. Like Monique addressed, that there's some things that can be looked at, reevaluated. I think that needs to happen all the time. Things need to be. We need to have that oversight all the time on pretty much everything, because I do think that it is something that should continue, but not the way it has been going.
Could I use my rebuttal or Monique's rebuttal?
Wait a minute. We're open, guys. We're gonna take some questions from the city. If you would like to expound, if Monique would like to expound, if Reggie would like to expound, if Malcolm would like to expound on the last question, you're more than welcome to do so at this time. I just want to make sure I thank everyone for participating. I thank you all for being here. I appreciate
your mic on. I can't hear anything.
My mic ain't on.
Your audio's fine, Charles.
Okay. All right. You're not getting nervous about audio real quick. Listen, I just want to thank you all for coming together and doing this beautiful presentation. I appreciate your passion. I appreciate your answers. I appreciate your time, first and foremost. So thank you so much for joining us with Black News Tonight. With that being said, there was a couple of questions that happened at the beginning. Before I get into those, I don't want to take too much time, but go ahead, Mike. If you got something that you want to say, if you want to rebuttal this question, you're more than welcome to do so.
Yeah, with Reggie's response that it's good and bad, whenever there's a gray area, we could always do better. So I know for a fact that the SPC program promotes racial profiling. It's because it's happened to me so many times. So that's just a fact. So if we need to, re-examine that agreement, then we need to re-examine that agreement. If we need to look at the amount of stops where guns were taken off the streets versus the amount of people that were pulled over for no reason whatsoever and given misdemeanor tickets, which puts them deeper into poverty, that puts them deeper into debt, then that's something that is important. It's not just a good and bad, and it is what it is, because it affects real people's lives. So I think that's why the question is, presented tonight. That's why it has such importance, because a traffic stop just doesn't end with the traffic stop. It ends with a creditor. It ends with a court trying to get money from somebody. And, rest in peace to RBG. And we need to get out and vote. That's it.
Oh, we lost Charles.
No, we did not lose Charles. We here. I just had to drink something. We all right. We here. Reggie, did you have any responses for that? You're muted. I'm only offering it back to you because he did rebuttal your name. So I want to make sure if you have any responses that you're more than welcome to do so. That now in CC there is no need for time anymore. We're just going to roll this out to the end and make sure that we give everybody their fair shot to speak on these questions that they have. And you and the public, 17 of you are viewing at this current moment in time, 15 of them from the Black News Tonight Facebook page, 3 of them from the YouTube page. So if you have questions that you personally want to ask these candidates, these passionate, on fire candidates running for city council, you're more than welcome to put them in the comment stream. Or you can also call our line that we have for Black News Tonight as well. Danger, will you put that banner on the bottom there, please?
So we just talk about whatever we want to on the previous questions?
If you have anything else to say on that question, yes, I would prefer to move. At some point, move on from it. But this is the open forum at this point. This is our town hall. If you have anything else on that specific question, you are more than welcome to respond now.
Yeah, I just want to bring up again the immigration thing, the undocumented or illegal immigration. They're not paying taxes and stuff, but yet we're being asked to give them benefits.
Yes, they are.
I don't see what.
Yeah, they are.
It is true that most
that I've
paying
personally worked with didn't. It was all under the.
No, there's money being generated from them living in the United States of America.
I didn't say that. I said taxes.
That's money.
Filing taxes with no documents, no social security number. I don't.
Yes.
Yeah, but you still pay taxes on your money wherever you work, unless they're being paid under the
anything
table.
that you buy. There's state taxes. Yeah. You know that, right, Malcolm?
Yeah, I know that.
All right, so you can't say that and know that at the same time.
That. They're not paying.
You just said that.
Income taxes is what I'm saying.
No, you didn't say. No, you never started that with income taxes.
All right, well, that's what I meant. They're not filing income tax. They're not paying income tax.
But they're paying taxes.
Okay, paying tax, tax and stuff. Well, fine, but they're not paying income tax. But they're not paying federal income tax. But they're asking us to try to get them the federal benefits and stuff.
Yeah. I'm legal. I'm still waiting for my tax return, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And I filed in February.
Okay.
That
All
has
right.
nothing to do with the
Let's go ahead and tackle another question. Monique got dropped from the stream. I'm going to ask Monique, did you have anything else that you wanted to say before I move on, Monique?
I'm just getting back on
Yes, ma'am.
now.
Yes, ma'am. I know.
Probably 30 seconds, so I'm good for right now. I'm good. Thank you for offering that. My technical difficulty is a lot.
And that's okay. With these kind of, we're all adjusting to COVID-19 and virtual debating and virtual forums. Obviously, it's something that all of us are getting accustomed to doing. It's only been about 6 months, if you do the math on, since we've all had to go out and find our way to do this differently and not meet in person. And I'm sure the whole community is feeling those effects. I know me personally of just trying to maneuver around new normals or new life or a new way of doing things here in America on our soil. So it's something that we're not definitely accustomed to at all, Monique. So no need to apologize. Whenever you come back on, I'm going to add you to the stream. Again, I say we're so happy to have every single one of you here.
Thank you.
Next, now I want to go ahead and move forward. Because we're already talking on the topic of COVID-19, and I want to make sure that I address that in this city and see where you guys are. So I'm going to ask a question just specifically regarding COVID-19 and where we are right now in our city, as far as making sure that we continue. I think it's important. We've been in school for about when we start August. Yep. So we've been in school for a couple of weeks now, and the kids are going back to school, some 3 days a week, some virtually. How will we ensure as a city, keeping in mind that we believe that there should be no child left behind, being that we have to move into virtual learning? Some schools are doing in-person learning, but how as a city do we make sure that there's no child left behind, being that maybe they're hearing impaired or they actually require to have somebody physically there to help them get through their learning the way they learn? How will we make sure that there's no children left behind dealing with a global pandemic? Michael?
Sorry, I keep on muting myself so I don't interrupt anybody else. My child goes to private school, so I'm broke and I pray about it. But obviously, there's a lot of retooling that needs to be done with the Saginaw City schools. Any teacher can agree with that. Any principal can agree with that. And that system is something that if we revamp, if we pay more attention to versus policing, we'll be able to bring more people into the fold. We'll be able to bring more teachers into the city. Because if I know anything as the son of a teacher, is that these people are doing it because they want to make sure that the next generation is more well equipped with either technology. That's a big thing with my 7-year-old and I, or any aspect, whether it be reading, writing, spelling, math is a big thing in our house. So the main thing about this election is that we have to elect leaders. We have to elect people that are going to go beyond the 9 and 5 in the city council and partner with whoever it may be in the school board that's elected to make sure that the Saginaw that we're aiming for, which is achievable, which we can do, is done with leadership on the front end. And I think that that's something that we've been missing from a couple folks that are currently on council. So that's what I have to say about that.
Trying to leave no student behind. You brought up the special needs and things like that. I think the city council could look into partnering up or just working with different companies and stuff to maybe get some equipment or whatever for people that can't afford it. Set something up like that. I know money is an issue, but if it comes down to it, maybe tax credit or something towards the lower income so they can afford to get the equipment they need. If they have to do the homeschooling or the school from home. But I would also look at and try to get the school board look at ways that they can open up the schools more, so more students can go to school safely. Those are the best options I see. I don't see any other way to do it. Just to look at it. That's it.
You are muted, Charles.
Monique.
Okay. In regards to that, first of all, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
First of all, I believe that would be okay. First of all, I believe that would be a school issue. I don't know the city's role in regards to that, but one of my piece of my platform is liaisons to other city and federally funded agencies. So with the liaison to the Board of Education, they would be able in turn to bring information back to the city council, and we can look at that and assist the city schools at however that we can. But for the most part, I believe that would be an issue for the Board of Education and the schools. Then we would also need to look at federal guidelines. What are those guidelines that are already in place, and how we would apply those to city schools. So, and I also think that our disadvantaged, some of our disadvantaged students, they need some advantages. Some of our children yet don't have the computers and the wherewithal to be able not to go into the building and have classes. So it's, as they were, how they can be. So we need to look at our disenfranchised children and make sure that their needs are being met on so many different levels. The pandemic is, of course, new to a lot of us. We could probably learn from some of our older citizens that knew about other pandemics, but nothing has been like this. So we're living and learning. We're living and learning. It's trial and error. So we want to do the best we can for our youth. And that's why I say we still need after school programs. So many of those have been cut off, and we need so many of them back.
That's a very, very good question. A very good answer. Next will be Reggie Williams.
I agree with what Monique just said, especially about our after-school programming. For the last, I believe, 3 years, I've been serving as the president of our parent-teacher organization at Archer Hill. I also serve on the Lamar Woodley Academy Board of Education. And I think the Lamar Woodley Academy is doing an excellent job right now with handling the pandemic and making sure there isn't any child left behind. But I totally agree with Monique, and she and I, we've worked together over the years with youth programming in the city. And I think that's something that we need back. I mean, if we had that type of funding to come back into the city, not just for that, but things like community policing and always education. Education can always use more funding. But I think those are the ways that we can ensure that our children aren't left behind.
Thank you, Reggie. I appreciate that. Okay, so we're coming to a close, folks. But I want you all to take a couple of minutes and answer this question from one of our audience members here, and then I'll do the official close of the show, and we will hope, I'll do all that in the end. But Katoya Richmond says, what is your vision for the city of Saginaw? Now, I think you guys have covered that extensively. If you guys want to cover just a couple of minutes on that again, for where you see the city going and what your vision is for it. And we'll start off in the same order.
I think that we need to focus on the east side, and that's unpopular in a campaign when you're working with numbers. And I'm sure that everyone here tonight and everyone tomorrow that's going to be on this forum and everyone that's running is focused on where do I get the most votes? And it's not going to be through the 1st and the 9th precinct, because historically and traditionally, those folks don't vote. The reason they don't vote is because we haven't been paying attention to them. And so we have a backwards program. We have a backwards situation with them. We need to start acting like we're Saginaw and stop acting like we're Bay City. I think that the developments that have happened on the riverfront are great, but at the same time, we're negating half of the city. You can't tell me when you go over to the east side that it hasn't been neglected for decades. So my vision for Saginaw is to have a whole Saginaw, not just the 11th through the 16th precincts, but really focusing on the work that we've done with taking away blight on the east side and understanding that we have a lot of opportunity to make sure that people on the east side prosper. So we're not just focusing on this riverside mentality where we're trickling down to the west side and we're giving up on the east side. That's my main goal. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to expand the electorate. Hopefully, because we have such a heavy bench, we're all going to be able to expand the electorate on the east side. I would be disappointed if we have people running from so many different walks of life to not expand the electorate. That's the main reason to run. I think that negates winning. It's to make sure that everyone is participating in this thing that we call democracy. And we can do that. So as long as we continue to have these forums, that's why I'm so grateful to Black News Tonight and Empower Saginaw. We'll get there. And it's a matter of kind of walking that first walk and walking that first step.
Thank you.
What I would like to see in Saginaw, like I said before, is the continue cleaning up the blight, supporting small business, get some small businesses going, to give people in the young people opportunities for careers, and hopefully doing that, we can also bring some of the bigger manufacturing back into the Saginaw area, which we were very prosperous when they were here before. So that's my vision, is to start at the bottom and work up and hopefully bring in, at the end, the bigger the companies and stuff with more opportunities. The more opportunities we have, the busier the people are, the better this city will be. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Thank you. And thank you, Charles, for this.
Thank you, sir. Monique Lamar Sylvia.
Okay, my number one would be transparency, and to actually listen, pay attention, and act on what the city of Saginaw is saying to us. I'd like to see the after-school programs come back. It's a need. I'd like to see the city go back, kind of what they say, the old landmark, where I've said this before, where our citizens can contact city council and tell them what's going on, or have a line of communication back and forth where our citizens feel comfortable enough to call Monique at home and tell her, what you feel is going on, and allow me to speak for you and take that information back to our other city council members, I believe we need to revamp city services for the less fortunate. I would love to see where persons, just for an example, the water bill is due, the water is cut off, and usually if your water is cut off, it's usually because you couldn't pay the bill, and then when you go back to pay it, you have to pay an additional fee, and that's really like taken away from our less fortunate citizens. So those are two major things that I really like to work on when I become a city council member: transparency, our youth, and our disadvantage.
Reggie.
Okay, Charles, again, thank you for the opportunity. My vision for the city of Saginaw is really, I would like everyone in Saginaw, including those outside of Saginaw, to see Saginaw the way I see it, which is Saginaw is a gem. We have so much potential to be so much more, and we just need to do things to help build on that potential. And what I love about the city is that it's a place you can live and you can travel the world and come back home and, I mean, just really enjoy this beautiful place. I agree with everything, all the candidates tonight, what they said as far as their vision as well. And I hope that we can get to that place where Saginaw is appreciated for what it is, and we can build it up to be more in time to come. Thank you.
I have one more thing, if I can say something real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
We need to quit being separated by a bridge. It's been many, many years, and we need to stop allowing a bridge to separate the city of Saginaw.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think all candidates would agree we don't want the bridges to separate us when we want to join together and be a united front. I seen an awesome video today, and we are coming to our close. Let me do this. I seen an awesome video today about we build opportunity here, and Saginaw is strong, and it was a beautiful thing. It had like 74,000 views on it, and I really love the light that it offered to this city. I was born and raised in this city, so I got my, like I said, I say it funny and jokingly, but I did get my first hug at Saginaw General. And for many of you that don't know what that is, that's before it was Covenant. Yeah, Saginaw General. I'm 30. So, but with that being said, I want to make sure we all know I'm going to do the close here. And candidates, if you can stick around, I definitely want you to stick off after we go live, after we end, so we can just say our official goodbyes. But I want you all to tune in tomorrow night at 7 p.m., which will have the other half of the 8 that committed to participating in the Black News Tonight virtual debate. And those 4 will be Jamie Forbes, George Copeland, Tavo Richmond. Excuse me. That's terrible. Tavo Richmond, Jamie Forbes.
George Copeland.
George Copeland. I said Copeland already. There's another one.
Don.
No.
It's Nathan Collison.
Nathan Collison.
Collison.
Yeah, excuse me. Nathan Collison, George Copeland, Tavo Richmond, and Jamie Forbes. So that's tomorrow's night. Forgive me, Nathan, for forgetting your name, but I hope you guys all get the opportunity to tune in tomorrow for the second part of this 2-night special. And let me say this as we leave. I thank you all for watching Black News Tonight. I thank you for everyone that has participated. And I just want you all to remember Black News Tonight, giving real people a louder voice in their community. And we were done. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Nice meeting all of you.
Nice talking.